तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय पतित पावन धर्मनिताय जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जगद्गुरु शिल प्रभुपदा. So Hare Krishna. So we will try to first read the verse today. So today devotees have asked me to speak on. Okay, so first I will do the screen sharing maybe. Okay, so Hare Krishna. Yeah. So today's we are reading from third canto, 29 chapter, verse number 1 and 2. Devahutirvacha lakshanam mahad adinam prakrite purushasya cha swarupam lakshate misham yena tat paramarthikam यथा सांख्येषु कथितं यन्मूलं तत् प्रचक्षते भक्ति योगस्य मे मार्गं ब्रूहि विस्तरस प्रभो. देवहूतिर्वाच लक्षणं महद् आदीनां प्रकृते पुरुषस्य च स्वरूपं लक्ष्यते मीशां येन तत् पारमार्थिकं यथा सांख्येषु कथितं यन्मूलं तत् प्रचक्षते भक्ति योगस्य मे मार्गं ब्रूहि विस्तरस प्रभो. देवहूतिर्वाच लक्षणं महद् आदीनां प्रकृते पुरुषस्य च स्वरूपं लक्ष्यते मीशां येन तत् पारमार्थिकं यथा सांख्येषु कथितं यन्मूलं तत् प्रचक्षते भक्ति योगस्य मे मार्गं ब्रूहि विस्तरस प्रभो. Hare Krishna. So we'll be reading word to word meaning. Devahuti Vacha, Devahuti said, Lakshanam, symptoms, Mahat Adinam of the Mahat Tattva and so on, Prakrite of material nature, Purushasya of the spirit, Cha, and Swarupam, the nature, Lakshate is described. Amisham of those, Yena by which, Tat, Paramarthikam, the true nature of them, Yatha, as Sankheshu in the Sankhya philosophy, Kathitam is explained, Yat, of which, Moolam, ultimate end, Tat, that, Prachakshate, they call Bhakti Yogasya of devotional service, may, to me, Margam, the path, Bruhi, please explain, Vistarasha at length, Prabhu, my dear Lord Kapila. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarin Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Devahuti inquired, my dear Lord, you have already very scientifically described this nature and the characteristic of the spirit according to the Sankhya system of philosophy. Now I shall request you to explain the path of devotional service, which is the ultimate end of all philosophical systems. Purport. In this 29th chapter, the glories of devotional service are elaborately explained, and the influence of time on the conditioned soul is also described. The purpose of elaborately describing the influence of time is to detach the conditioned soul from his material activities, which are considered to be simply a waste of time. In the previous chapter, material nature, the spirit and the supreme Lord or super soul are analytically studied. And in this chapter, the principles of bhakti yoga or devotional service, the execution of activities in the eternal relationship between the living entities and the personality of Godhead are explained. Bhakti yoga or devotional service is the basic principle of all systems of philosophy. All philosophy which does not aim for devotional service to the Lord is considered merely mental speculation. But of course, bhakti yoga with no philosophical basis is more or less sentiment. There are two classes of men. Some consider themselves intellectually advanced and simply speculate and meditate, and others are sentimental and have no philosophical basis for their proposition. Neither of these can achieve the highest goal of life, or if they do, it will take them many, many years. Vedic literature therefore suggests that there are three elements, namely the Supreme Lord, the living entity, and their eternal relationship. And the goal of life is to follow the principles of bhakti or devotional service and ultimately attain to the planet of the Supreme Lord in full devotion and love as an eternal servitor of the Lord. Sankhya philosophy is the analytical study of all existence. One has to understand everything by examining its nature and characteristics. This is called acquirement of knowledge. But one should not simply acquire knowledge without reaching to the goal of life or the basic principle for acquiring knowledge, that is bhakti yoga. If we give up bhakti yoga and simply busy ourselves in the analytical study of the nature of things as they are, then the result will be practically nil. It is stated in Bhagavatam that such engagement is something like husking a paddy. There is no use beating the husk if the grain has already been removed. By the scientific study of material nature, the living entity and the super soul, one has to understand the basic principle of devotional service to the Lord. So Hare Krishna. So we'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Mano Abhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutat Padkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurati Se Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balbhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. So today on the very auspicious occasion of Ekadasi, we are going to discuss the glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and on this auspicious occasion, especially we are very fortunate because today we are starting the new chapter, and as Srila Prabhupada has already told in the purport, that this new chapter is all about devotional service. So till now we were discussing a very, very deep philosophical concepts using what is this world, what this world is made up of, and analytical study of each elements of this universe in detail. But in this chapter, we are beginning the goal of all those analytical study, that why we studied it and all those things. So as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Brahmand Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. That while the living entity within this universe who has come in this world to enjoy separate from the will of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is pervaded with the controlling, enjoying, proprietorship mentality. And for many, many lives, for millions of lives, the living entity in different capacity, in different species, at different places, at different times, are trying to gratify their senses, gratify their mind in variety of ways. Yes. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then tells that the culmination, the termination of all these material samsara, it culminates when the living entity he seeks the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the spiritual master and through the mercy of the Vaishnavas. And when the living entity want to get out of this mess of material universe, yes, one of the gifts which Lord provides to the living entity, the helping hand, is the scriptures. The scriptures contains all the knowledge, which is required for a living entity to get out of this universe. Yes, and that's why scriptures deals in great detail about what is this universe, what is the material nature, who are we, what is our relationship with the supreme personality of Godhead, what is our relationship with the prakriti, what is the relationship of prakriti with the supreme personality of Godhead, what is the goal of life, what is the abhideya to reach to that goal. And all these things are in great detail covered in the Shastras. As Srila Prabhupada used to say, that these scriptures or this knowledge is ultimately like the manual of life. Yes, just like if we purchase a very complex machine or a complex computer, yes, generally the company also gives us some map, some directions, some manual, so that we know how to operate it properly. Similarly, the scriptures, the knowledge, yes, they are given in this dark, mortal material world for a living entity to seek the goal of life. But at the that's why Srila Prabhupada also used to say that the religion which is without philosophy, yes, it is simply a sentiment, as also we read in the purport. And but Srila Prabhupada also told opposite, is that the philosophy without the religion or without the goal of life is simply a speculation. That's all. It's a mental speculation, and it is just like beating the empty husk without paddy. Yes, and there is no use to it. Yes, so as it is necessary for us to acquire the required knowledge, as Srila Prabhupada has given us a variety of books, yes, and he wanted us to read the books very, very carefully. He wanted us to become like a lawyer. Just like a lawyer, he's well versed with entire law book. He knows nook and corner of what is the law system. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to be similarly like a spiritual lawyer or a spiritual scientist, who is very, very much engaged into going deeper into the knowledge of this of the scriptures. Yes, and but at the same time, Srila Prabhupada also warned us that the goal of doing all these things, the goal of reading my books, is ultimately to develop love for Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ultimately to get out of this world and to go back home, back to Godhead. Yes, so this goal should be kept in mind while we are doing our abhideya of acquiring the knowledge or reading the scriptures carefully. This is very important. Yes, even Krishna in the last 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, he spends a lot of time in describing the jnana part. Yes, so broadly the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita are broadly divided. Like first 6 chapters is all about the karma, how to do and how to progress on the yoga ladder while we are working in this world. The middle 6 chapter is the condensed bhakti yoga, and last 6 chapter Krishna spends deliberately on the jnana of what is this universe, who are we, what is the connection of us with Prakriti with Supreme Lord with us, and all these things. What are the 3 modes of material nature, how the living entity is entangled within this world. Everything Krishna explains in very, very great detail. Yes. But the goal of all these things, so while Krishna is concluding the 18th chapter, in the 18th chapter Krishna again reminds, while he is going to conclude the chapter, while he is going to conclude his entire instruction of Bhagavad Gita, is sarva guhya tamam jnanam, that the goal, the top secret of all the jnana, he says to Arjuna, is here me, that man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Yes. So in the end again, so as Krishna already spoke this verse while he was speaking the condensed bhakti yoga in 9.34, but while he's concluding the 18th chapter, concluding the entire jnana section from chapter 13 to 18, he's again reminding Arjuna that Arjuna, the goal of all this knowledge, The top secret of all this knowledge which I have given you is ultimately to develop love towards me, to develop spriti towards me, and ultimately come back to me at the end of this life. Yes. So and that's why there is a very beautiful verse in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, and verse number 3. Yes, where it is so the 14th chapter is all about the prayers of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma also speaks a similar thing which Srila Prabhupada is today highlighting in the purport. So I will just read the verse. ज्ञाने प्रयासम उदपास्य नमन्त एवा जीवन्ति सन्मुखरितं भवदीय वार्तां स्थाने स्थिता श्रुति गतां तनुवान् मनोभिर य प्रयासो जीतोपि असि तैस्त्रिलोक्यम्. So the translation of this verse goes like this, that jnane prayasam, that one who leaves this the process of jnana prayasa. Yes, those who even while remaining situated in their established social position throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words and mind offered all respects to the description of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within these three worlds. Yes. So here Lord Brahmaji is again reminding us that how the goal of all the knowledge is ultimately to do the devotional service. If anybody who is disconnected from the devotional service and he is simply cultivating knowledge, it will simply increase the weight of his head, and the ultimate fruitful result will be nil. So I will just read the purport. This is a beautiful purport, and it has very deep similarity with what we are discussing today. Here the word udapasya clearly indicates that one should not even slightly endeavor to understand the absolute truth by the process of mental speculation, for it invariably carries one to an imperfect and impersonal understanding of God. The word jivanti indicates that a devotee who always hears about the Lord Krishna will go back home, back to Godhead, even if he cannot do nothing except maintain his existence and hear topics concerning the Lord. Yes, so this is again very wonderful. And even if a devotee is not having much intelligence to analyze this philosophy very deeply, if he simply maintains his life in this world, in his own social position, and just hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is the ultimate goal of life, still he can go back to Godhead. Whereas a person who doesn't do devotional service and he analyzes the matter, he's very analytical, he's very speculative, and he just make the chart and he analyzes the philosophy in variety of ways, it has no use. Srila Sanatana Goswami has explained the word tanuvan manobhi by the word body and mind in three ways. In reference to devotees, through their body, words and mind, they are able to conquer Lord Krishna. Thus, becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness, they can touch his lotus feet with their hands, call him to come with their words, and attain his direct audience within their mind simply by thinking about him. In the case of non-devotees, the words tanuva manovir refer to word ajita, unconquered, and indicate that those not engaged in the loving service of Lord Krishna cannot conquer the absolute truth by their bodily strength, verbal expertise, or mental power. Despite all their endeavors, the ultimate truth remains beyond their reach. Yes. So this is a beautiful purport which Srila Prabhupada has given. And in the next verse of the same series, that is 10.14.4, is again very, very wonderful. Shreya Shritim Bhakti Udasyate Vibho Kleshyanti Ye Kevala Bodha Labdhahe Tesham Asau Kleshala Eva Shishyate Nanyad Yatha Stula tusavaghatinam. So the translation goes like this: My dear Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up the path and engages in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization. His only gain is trouble. So this is again so beautiful. So I think that Srila Prabhupada, as told in the purport, that the example of beating of the husk is taken from Bhagavatam, and this is the exact sloka, that is 10.14.4, from which Srila Prabhupada quoted this example of beating the empty husk. So here again, Brahmaji is again reminding that devotional service is the best path. Yes, and if one disconnects himself from a devotional service and simply speculates, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this Supreme Lord is maybe like this, maybe like that. Yes, it will result in nothing. Because in the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Lord is Adhokshaja. Adhokshaja means Adha Akshaja. He is beyond our sensual perception. Yes, even if a yogi travels at the speed of mind, the mind is the fastest thing in this world. It is much, much faster than our fastest rocket or the fastest aircraft. Yes, it is even faster than the speed of light. As the scientists tell that the light has the maximum speed in this universe, but our mind has even more speed than the light. Yes, within a moment, if you want to think of USA, the mind can immediately go to USA and just visualize the things and come back. The mind is so powerful. And if you travel at the speed of mind, rushing towards the Supreme Lord, that maybe with my mind, I will speculate so much. With my stout intelligence, yes, I will try to capture the Supreme Lord within my capacity of intellectual or mental realm. Yes, so Brahma Samhita explains that even if you do so at the speed of your mind, yes, it's impossible to reach to a small part of the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if you get some understanding, let's say he is the most intelligent person in this world, and he speculates for years and years and years with his best capacity, the maximum thing which he can achieve is some imperfect, or at max some impersonal understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why Srila Prabhupada compared such people that even if they get the bottle of honey, yes, with their best capacity, yes, they can simply do maximum what they can do with their intelligence and mind is to leak the bottle from outside. They can never get the real taste of the honey inside, yes, because it is locked. Yes, so Krishna reserves. So Naham Prakasa Sarvasya. So it is up to Krishna to reveal himself. Srila Prabhupada gave another example of sun. Let's say we want to understand what is sun. Yes, no matter how much you try, you send some sensors to the sun, you send some rocket to the sun. Yes, the sun is so blaring with effulgence. The sun is so great that all your capacity to understand sun by your own endeavors will fail. So currently our understanding of sun by the current scientific community is by whatever light is coming from the sun, whatever the information the spectrum of the sun is sending, we simply analyze it with our instrument, and that's how we come to know what is sun. Yes, that's all. Yes, it's beyond our capacity to just go to the sun, capture the sun, and just pull out some information from the sun. No, whatever the sun is sending, we can simply receive that spectrum or the rays, analyze it with our instrument, and then give the conclusion. Okay, the sun, maybe sun is like this, maybe sun is like that. Yes. So this is the best we can do with our limited mind and senses. Yes, and in the and our scriptures have given many examples to show this. Yes, that how devotion, it overpowers the mental speculation. And here it says Ajito, that Krishna is Ajita. He cannot be conquered by anyone. Yes, but he is easily purchased. You know, Krishna is easily purchased by devotion. Yes, Krishna reveals himself to the one who is devoted to him. And that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati, that only by devotion, only by undivided devotion can you know me as it is, Tatvata, as I am, you can know. If and apart from devotion, either you will come to know me imperfectly, or you will get a slight understanding of me that is impersonal. What the light which is coming from Krishna's toes and filling the whole universe as a impersonal Brahman. Yes, at max you can get some feel of that impersonal understanding. That's all. And beyond that, you cannot reach inside the bottle, and taste the honey. And that's why such people are devoid of the information of name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Lord. Yes, they are unable to understand it. That what is the sweetness of Krishna's beauty, name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Yes. And this example is also shown in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, where Krishna sends Uddhav. So now Uddhav is the most intellectual person. He was the direct disciple of Brihaspati, who is the spiritual master or the guru of the demigods. Yes, so the Uddhav was sent to Vrindavan by Krishna. So Krishna asked Uddhav that go to Vrindavan. There, my dear devotees, gopis, and Srimati Radharani, Yashoda, Nanda, they are suffering the pangs of separation from me. Please go, and pacify them with the knowledge. Yes, tell them that I am everywhere. I am all pervasive. To that even in my absence, how Brajvasis can remember me. Yes, through my expansion, through the meditation on knowledge, through the meditation on super soul, etc., etc. So Uddhav went, and Uddhav went, and Uddhav was initially trying to pacify, the Brajvasis with all this knowledge. Yes, but then, the Uddhav got the googly, Uddhav got the what to say, means the best misconception, what he could have even imagined. That Uddhav saw that these gopis, they are beyond, they are thinking about Krishna is beyond my conception. Yeah, means Uddhav was telling them that how you can remember Krishna, but gopis are telling we want to forget Krishna. Yes, because this Krishna, he has so just like a computer gets hanged with the virus. Yes, the virus overpowers the computer and computer is hanged. Similarly, we are hanged. Our mind is hanged by Krishna. That black boy has occupied our mind. Yes, and we are not able to do anything. We are not able to perform our daily activities. We are not able to serve our husband. We are not able to serve our child. We are not able to do our daily activity of feeding the cow, of cooking, etc. Because at 24 hours, practically every moment, Krishna is occupying our mind. Krishna is occupying our heart. Yes, and just it is increasing the heat of separation from him. That's all. So Uddhav, rather than telling us how to remember Krishna, can you please tell us how to forget Krishna? Yes, so that at least we can do some practical things in our life. Yes, so the Uddhav, he was so much it just went above his head. It was just a googly for him, and he was unable to understand. And that's why Uddhav, he bowed down in front of the gopis. All his knowledge, all his intelligence, all his power of mind, you know, it simply became subservient to the lotus feet of the gopis. Yes, and thus it shows that how uh, so Krishna wanted to just show that how the devotion is the real wealth which Krishna wants. You know, devotion is the thing which can purchase Krishna. You know, and how devotion outweighs the power of knowledge or the power of intelligence to understand him. So this is one example, and we see in the life of our acharyas, for example, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very intelligent. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a Shrutidhar. You know, he can simply just see a thing at once and just remember it for his whole life. Yes, and that's why when he used to sit in front of Britishers to speak something, even they were bound to open the dictionary and see what he is speaking, what is the meaning of this word which he is speaking. But when it came to choose a guru, when it came to choose the person who can give him shelter, yes, the best person, you know, so there were many Vaishnavas around that time, and some of them were intellectually also very powerful. But out of so many devotees, he chose Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj as his spiritual master. He decided to take initiation from him. And who is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? You know, materially, he is completely opposite of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He even didn't use to, means he didn't had enough education to even read the scriptures in detail. Yes, so Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was just absorbed in chanting, you know, the holy names of the Lord, and he was just absorbed in the Vipralamba Bhav, that is the separation from Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he approached Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, now, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj practically denied to give him initiation because he considered himself ineligible, and he didn't wanted, you know, any of the material designation or any of the things apart from the holy name to occupy his life. And that's why, you know, he denied. But Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur approached him practically so many times, you know, and finally he got initiation from Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, through his example, also showed us that how the devotion of Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was far greater. It simply outweighs, you know, the intellectual capacity of any other person. And that's why he left anybody else, you know, and he just seeked the shelter of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj for his devotion, for his taste for the holy name, you know, for his Vipralamba Bhav. You know, this is what Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur valued the most. And that's why even in Chaitanya Leela we see that there was a great scholar of Srimad Bhagavatam known as Devanand Pandit. So this Devanand Pandit was so intellectual that he was very expert in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, he can recite Srimad Bhagavatam in so many variety of tunes, and his explanation will be so scholarly that so many people will come to learn Srimad Bhagavatam from Devanand Pandit. Yes, and in one such occasion, when Srivas Thakur came in his assembly to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, and while Devanand Pandit was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, Srivas Thakur just went into ecstasy, and all the symptoms of ecstasy started manifesting in his body. The tears started flowing, the hair stood on end. Yeah, he started shivering. He practically started rolling on the ground. And seeing this disturbance, yes, in his assembly, Devanand Pandit, because he was simply at intellectual platform. Yes, he was not able to understand the depth of devotion of Srila Srivas Thakur, and thus he asked his disciple to just take him out and throw him out. You know? This person is creating disturbance in our scholarly discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srivas Thakur was thrown out. And that's why in the latter we see that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he meets Devanand Pandit, he simply neglects him. And the Mahavadanyaya avatar, the most merciful avatar, simply neglects Devanand Pandit and just reminds him, what is the use of all your study of Bhagavatam? What is the use of the very, very bombastic explanation of the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam? It has practically no use, because you couldn't understand the loving sentiment of Srivas Thakur. And that's why Devanand Pandit had to do a lot of austerities, to please Vrakreshwar Pandit. So when he pleased Vrakreshwar Pandit, at that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became again pleased with him and then gave him mercy. And in Chaitanya Leela we see many times, even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he himself was a great scholar. In his early pastimes, in the Adi Leela, we see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a most staunch scholar. Nobody can stand in front of him. If anybody argues with him, he gives one argument, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will defeat that argument, and then he will defeat the argument with the which he gave just now with another argument, and then he will again re-defeat and establish the earlier argument again. He was such an intellectual. What a normal Sanskrit teacher will take many years to teach a student Sanskrit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will do it in few months. Yes, in a few months, his students will become great pandits of Sanskrit. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he met Ishwar Puri in Gaya, and when he got the holy names, and when he returned, he considered all this knowledge to be subservient, and he left everything. He was unable to even teach to his students. While he was teaching to his student, and if suppose some word of Krishna comes or some connection with Krishna comes, he will get lost. He will just get lost in remembering Krishna. And when he will come back, he will ask his students, oh, come on, what I was doing, what I was teaching. And the students will tell him, sir, you are simply lost in Krishna. You were speaking about Krishna. You were crying for Krishna. And like this, many hours have passed. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that, sorry, my dear students, I am unable to teach you now because my heart is stolen by Krishna. Yes, so we see in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he himself was the greatest scholar of this universe. He left everything when the holy name was received in his heart. Yes. Similarly, we see the pastimes of that Srivas Hangan, that while a milk drinking brahmachari, yes, when he came to see the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very angry, and he told, what do you think that simply by drinking milk, simply by studying a lot of scriptures, simply by being austere, you can achieve me? No, I can only be achieved through devotion. And I heard like in one lecture that once a devotee, he once approached Bhanu Maharaj and he asked that, Maharaj, what is the conclusion of all the Gaudiya Vaishnavism? What is Gaudiya Vaishnavism? Can you explain the whole philosophy? What is the depth of philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism? And Maharaj replied that if you want to know the goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the answer is that there is no philosophy. In the end, it is all sentiment for Krishna. That's all. So the culmination of all this huge philosophy which we read, given by Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, and given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the goal is simply that in the end, you just develop that deep love for Krishna. Yes, and that's why we see, even if we live in our family, for example, in the family we know that we have several engagement. The father has to go out and fetch money from the job, and then the children, they have their own education. The mother has their own engagement. But at the end of the day, we see that what gives a family the real joy is when the family come together. Yes, and when when the family, they eat together, they celebrate festival together, they love each other, they share the sorrow and joy with each other. That is the essence of the family. Yes, let's say if a father goes and he earns a lot of money, he's simply busy in earning money and he doesn't give time to his family, the family consider it as useless. Yes, similarly, if a children is simply busy in education, you know, and he so then also the family, it feels that, oh, you know, this is useless, you know? So that's why in family there are several engagements, you know, but the culmination of all those engagement, the culmination of earning money, culmination of gaining education or bringing things from outside, is that the family can have loving reciprocation among each other. Yes, so that's the goal of entire activity which we do in family. You know? So similarly, whatever we do in devotional service, you know, whatever knowledge we cultivate, whatever austerity we do, whatever standards which we follow in our devotional service, you know, whatever rules and regulations which we have, whatever regulative principles which we have, yes, if the goal is missed, yes, so then it just becomes like the beating of the empty husk. And that's why if we read NOI, so in the NOI, Nectar of Instruction, so Rupa Goswami gives many wonderful instruction which a sadhaka has to cultivate, starting from the Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, that how one should control his senses. You know? He goes to 6 principles which are favorable for devotional service, 6 principles which one must avoid, you know, in order to advance in devotional service. Then he gives how to develop loving reciprocation among the devotees and all those things. But while he concludes his NOI, you know, in the conclusion, Srila Rupa Goswami very clearly he hammers the point that ultimately the goal of all this, following the instruction, is to always remember, you know, the beautiful name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. He in the end verses of NOI, he recommends one to go and take shelter of the Radha Kund, to take shelter of the Braj Bhumi, and in that Braj Bhumi, completely dedicate our mind, body, and words in simply remembering and glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So although he gives many wonderful instructions, which may sometimes look little external, like controlling the senses and all those things, yes, but the culmination is devotional service. Culmination is to develop the preeti, the love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And while so even if a devotee is not intellectually capable of acquiring the knowledge, yes, so Krishna says that the knowledge is the byproduct of devotional service. Yes, that when you come closer to me, because Krishna is Satchit Ananda, he's eternal. So while we come closer to him, and the soul by nature is Satchit Ananda in nature. So while we come close to our nature of soul, while we come close to Krishna, yes, the knowledge is the byproduct of it. Yes. So and that's why in the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, Krishna promises that Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Anybody who sincerely approaches me, I give him the knowledge. Yes, I personally, you know, manifest within his intelligence, you know, and within his limited intelligence, he is able to, you know about the supreme truth, which is infinite, which is unlimited. You know? So that unlimited supreme truth, you know, can be accommodated within the limited intelligence of a soul. Yes, when, you know, when Krishna want to reveal himself, you know, like that. And that's why we see the example of Dhruv Maharaj. When Dhruv Maharaj, he was a small 5-year-old boy, he did a very intense tapasya to approach the Supreme Lord. And when the Supreme Lord appeared in front of him, Yes, Dhruv Maharaj wanted to offer prayers. Dhruv Maharaj wanted to glorify his beloved Lord, on whom he had meditated for 6 months. He wanted to glorify the beauty of the Lord. He wanted to glorify the greatness of the Lord. But Dhruv Maharaj was a small 5-year-old boy. He had not that much knowledge. He was not a Sanskrit Pandit. All those things. But his desire was there. Simply by his desire, when Lord Vishnu, he touched his console on the head of Dhruva, immediately the flow of verses started coming. The flow of nectar started flowing from the mouth of Dhruv Maharaj. Yes. Why? Because the Supreme Lord is the source of all the knowledge, and He is seated within the heart of everyone. Sarvasya chaham hridayam nivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. That Supreme Lord, He is seated within the heart, and He is actually the source of all the knowledge. Even the yogis, even the jnanis, who are able to do so much of mental speculation, who are able to analyze the scripture in such a variety of ways, even the source of their knowledge is Krishna only. It is Krishna who empowers them to do what they are doing. It is Krishna who gives them that intellectual kick, who gives them that knowledge by which they are able to understand the scriptures. Yes, and then Krishna says in the further ways, Vedeshta sarver aham eva vedyo, that all the Vedas which are there, I am the knower of the Veda. Vedanta krit videha chaham, that I am the knower of the Veda, I am the creator of the Vedas, and I am the person who gives you intelligence to understand the Vedas. And at the end, after reading all these Vedic scriptures, I am to be known. Vedanta krit videha chaham, that I am the person who is the object of the Vedic study. Yes, I am the creator of the Vedas. I am the knower of the Vedas. I am the person who facilitates your understanding of the Vedas. And after reading everything, it is me who is to be known. Yes. So, and that's why we are very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, that how Srila Prabhupada, he gave us a lot of knowledge. He gave us the facility. He built the temple. He established all the external facilities which is needed for us to progress in devotional service. But Srila Prabhupada, through his purport, he again and again, he reminds us, he gives us the essence, that is Krishna consciousness. And that's why Srila Prabhupada named this society as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In Hindi we say Krishna Bhavana Mrit Sangh. That ultimately it's about Krishna Bhavana. Ultimately it's about consciousness of Krishna, which is to be achieved in the end. And Srila Prabhupada picked up this word Krishna Bhavana from the Rupa Goswami's writings, and when he showed it to his god brother, that I am naming my society as Krishna Bhavana Amrit Sangh, or International Society for Krishna Consciousness, when he showed this name to the god brother just to confirm whether this name is suitable or not, and then his god brothers also tell, yes, this is the essence of the Krishna consciousness ultimately. Yes, this is, so what you are naming your society is the essence of all the Vedic scripture, is the essence of all the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why in this Shastrakam also, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the first verse, where he is glorifying the glories of the holy name, he says, Cheto Darpana Marchanam, Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitanam, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. What does Vidya Vadhu Jivanam means? That the Vidya is like a Vadhu of the holy name. That means that when suppose if you invite a husband, the Vadhu, the bride itself comes with the husband, because the bride, the wife, she is simply subservient to the husband. She just obeys the husband. So if you invite a husband to your house, The wife is the byproduct in your house. In the same manner, one who chants the holy name very, very seriously, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. The Vidya is itself directly revealed in the heart. The Vidya is the byproduct of the chanting of the holy names. And that's why in the fourth verse again Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadesh kamaye mama janmani janmani ishware bhautat bhakti ahituki tvai. He says that I don't want wealth, I don't want women, but then he says I also don't want followers, or I don't want to become a great scholar. I don't want to just be a great kavi who can just speak the verses in a very powerful manner or explain the shastras. I don't want all these things. Yes. So then what I want, I just want ahi tuki bhakti, life after life after life. Yes. That's why Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he uses the word jnana and vijnana. So jnana is simply a theoretical knowledge, yes, which we acquire. But when that jnana changes into the love for the Supreme Lord, when that jnana changes into attraction for the Supreme Lord, it becomes vijnana. And that is the realized knowledge. And that is the essence of all the knowledge as told by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And that's why we see that our entire scriptures, and that's why Bhagavatam in the end, after giving all the knowledge, everything, it culminates into the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, yes, which is ultimately the goal of all the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah? So with this prayer that while we are cultivating devotional service, while we are trying to follow all the rules and regulations, while we are trying to deal with the external things also within the realm of devotional service, let us keep our focus at the right point. Vyavasayatmika buddhi eke hi kuru nandana. That the one pointed focus on the goal of life, that is Krishna, and to develop love for Krishna, to go back to Godhead. Yes, that's the goal of life. And not to get entangled in the external form. Not to get entangled into something which is substandard to that, not to get deviated by other things in our devotional service, and to keep our compass always focused in that goal, in that essence, just like the swan. Srila Prabhupada gave the example of swan, just like a swan. When if you give him milk and water mixed, it has the power to just drink the milk. And that's why the great souls are also known as Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa means a person who can simply seek the milk and throw away all the external things. And a devotee also has to be the similar, that he seeks Krishna everywhere. In our activities of the devotional service also, it is not the skill with which we do that devotional service. It is Krishna who is to be achieved through that skill set or through that activity of devotional service. So with this prayer, we end our class today, as we have reached the time, that may Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Srila Prabhupada always keeps our intelligence and mind focused on the goal of life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Should we end, Prabhu?
Aaj kuch nahi kiya. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much for the wonderful explanation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.